Today I sent to Houston City Council a draft of a new Equal Rights Ordinance for the City of Houston. The document is the result of more than 2 months of discussions with stakeholders from inside the city and across the community. I want to thank Councilmember Ellen Cohen, who is with me today, and Councilmember Mike Laster, who have been intimately involved in this process and who chose early on to work with me and to help carry this legislation through to what we hope will be successful passage next month at City Council. As I stated in my State of the City address earlier this month, the Houston I Know doesn't discriminate. It really doesn't matter in Houston, and it shouldn't matter in Houston, your place of origin, your gender, your age, what physical limitations you may have, your race, or who you choose to love. And because Houston is such an open and welcoming place, and those things shouldn't matter, it's time to codify an ordinance that position. I've heard people say that, well, things are going well in Houston, why do we need it? Every other major city in America has chosen to put in writing its belief in the equality of all its citizens and the right of all of its citizens to engage in the activities and benefits of being in those cities. And I think it's time for the city of Houston to bring itself into alignment with all of our peer cities. The draft ordinance will prohibit discrimination in city employment, in city contracting, in housing, in public accommodation, and in private employment in businesses that employ at least 50 employees. It will not apply to religious institutions or organizations. Complaints about violations of the ordinance and decisions regarding prosecution are to be handled first by the city's Office of Inspector General and then by the city attorney. If the subject of a complaint refuses to cooperate in the investigatory process, a petition will be made to the Houston City Council for a subpoena to bring that entity in and compel that entity to cooperate or to answer questions. The ordinance does give me discretion to create an advisory task force to study and report on matters related to the ordinance, but there is not going to be a human rights or an equal rights panel to take complaints. We have decided to make this an administrative process, and the complaint process and the investigation would be handled confidentially within the Office of Inspector General and the legal department. I intend to present the full draft ordinance to council in a public presentation on April 30th. Councilmember Cohen has the Quality of Life Committee and will be chairing that process, as well as working with me to answer council members' questions in the interim. The ordinance may be viewed by clicking on our ordinance link off the city's main webpage. And by the way, Janice, I think that also our new vehicle for hire ordinance is available on that link as well, since we released that last week. I look forward to your questions. I want to give Councilmember Cohen an opportunity, if she wishes, to make an opening statement as well, because as I've said, she's been engaged in this process, and I appreciate her willingness to roll her sleeves up and to be an ally in this. Councilmember?
Thank you. Clearly, Mayor, as a politician, I can't refuse the opportunity to say a word or two, but I'm thrilled that we are where we are today. I realize the mayor said that we've taken 2 months to produce this ordinance. I'm a lot older than mayor, and I've been around a lot longer, and I know that we've been involved in this ordinance since I was involved in the early 80s. The ordinance that treats people with equality. And it took this mayor and her courage and the intellect of the city attorney to put together, working with the business community and with leadership from the community, to put an ordinance together that I think says to the rest of the country that we are not only a city that has an enormous population of various members of every group, but we are a community and a city now that says we welcome you, our visitors, and our citizens to a city that provides equal opportunities for all. So I'm pleased to be involved with it. I'm looking forward to working with my fellow council members, and I'm particularly looking forward, as the mayor mentioned, to the April 30th Quality of Life meeting, which I might just add is open to everyone and anyone, and people that want to come and speak there can do so. I have a feeling we'll have a large group, but we look forward to that dialogue. So thank you very much, and thank you, Mayor.
Now, I've already heard it said that this is an ordinance specifically for the gay and transgender community. That is, in fact, not the case. The City of Houston does not have any local ordinances protecting any groups of people. What's happened in many other cities across the United States is that they have gone into existing civil rights ordinances or human rights ordinances or non-discrimination ordinances and added sexual orientation and gender identity. But the City of Houston has no existing ordinances, so this is the first time we have been able to do a comprehensive ordinance that protects not just the GLBT community, but people on the basis of race or ethnicity or religion or age, etc. And while there are federal protections today for many of those classes, we think it's important to state at the local level and by the governing body of the City of Houston that we don't believe in discrimination, and we're putting it in writing and proving it.